Shemar Stewart remains the only first-round pick in the NFL who has not agreed to terms and signed a deal yet. Now Joe Burrow isn't happy, and Trey Hendrickson has left town and is in Florida breaking off contract talks. What are the Bengals doing? A few days ago, there were still 4 second-rounders who hadn't signed their contracts yet. But 3 of the 4 have since signed. Cardinals cornerback Will Johnson, Titans edge rusher Olu Oladejo, and Eagles safety Andrew Makuba. That is now 255 of 257 draft picks that have signed their contracts. The 2 remaining unsigned picks are the Bengals' Shemar Stewart and Browns running back Quinshon Judkins, who is dealing with a ton of legal troubles. Now, Judkins was projected to be the Browns' starting running back, but he had some serious off the field allegations come out recently, and according to reports, he is focused on settling the issue and not signing his contract right now. So Judkins has extenuating circumstances, including a police investigation, and he's focused on clearing his name and staying out of jail. But Shemar Stewart is the only other draft pick in the entire league that has not signed his contract yet, and it has quickly become one of the biggest dramas of the offseason. The Bengals and Stewart have both taken to the media to express their frustrations. Shemar Stewart said he doesn't want anything that other players didn't get. He would take the exact same deal that Bengals 2024 first rounder Amarius Mims got last year. But the issue has been with the language of the deal. The Bengals are trying to include a clause that hasn't been in any of their previous contracts, a clause that could void future guaranteed money if a player gets in trouble, kind of like the Browns' Quinshon Judkins. Shemar Stewart said last month that he believes he's 100% correct, and he added, "I'm not asking for nothing y'all have never done before, but in y'all's case, y'all just want to win arguments more than winning games." Strong words from the rookie first round pick, accusing the Bengals of wanting to win arguments more than they want to win football games. And honestly, some people around the league are wondering if he's right. The Bengals director of player personnel, Duke Tobin, he spoke to reporters a few days ago, and he kind of added more fuel to the fire. He said he doesn't blame Shemar and added he's listening to the advice he's paying for. "I don't understand the advice." So he's basically saying that Shemar is listening to his agents, but he doesn't understand the advice that the agents are giving him. But this holdout is all because the Bengals have included language that could void his future guaranteed money. That language simply was not included in previous contracts for Bengals first rounders, but it was added to all the rookie deals this season. And the Bengals are just trying to catch up with the rest of the NFL here, as all the other teams include this clause already. Tobin added that the Bengals have the right to evolve when it comes to contracts, but this has honestly been one of the most puzzling situations around the entire league. Not only have the Bengals been at odds with their first round pick, but they've also had a very public disagreement with the leader of their defense, another pass rusher, Trey Hendrickson. His contract dispute has also been ugly and has involved the media. Before camp started, he was in town, and reports were they were close to finally getting a deal done. However, the day training camp started, Trey Hendrickson was back in Florida, and reports are that talks fell apart due to a dispute around guaranteed money. Now, Trey did come out and say that he was willing to take less money and willing to work on a deal. Tom Pelissero is reporting that Trey Hendrickson has now made it clear he will not play this year on the current deal. This is simply not a good look for Cincy. To make matters worse, Joe Burrow is reportedly not happy now, according to recent comments by Rich Eisen. This is just awful all around. But when it comes to Shemar Stewart, he is the only first-round pick that has not signed a deal, and the only player in the entire draft that's not in legal trouble that still hasn't signed his contract. And honestly, out of all the picks in the draft, he might be the guy that needs to get into training camp the most. That's what makes this even more puzzling. So every day he misses is bad news for the Bengals. He was drafted with very high expectations, but some analysts were already questioning the Bengals for taking a guy with less than 5 career sacks in round 1. Simply put, he needs development, and not being in camp means he's not being developed. This situation is more nuanced than most people understand. Yes, the Bengals are trying to include a new clause in their contracts this year. However, the most overlooked point is that almost every other team in the NFL has already had this language in their contract for a long time. It only voids the guaranteed money if the player gets in trouble off the field. So it's pretty simple here. Don't get in trouble and you don't lose any guaranteed money. The Bengals have been reluctant to include this language in contracts, but they're finally catching up to the rest of the NFL. Some people think they're the only team trying to include this clause in the contract, but that is simply untrue. I didn't get an exact number, but from people I talked to, they believe that every other team in the league has had this language in their contracts before 2025. So if another team would have drafted Shemar Stewart, he still would have had to sign a contract that included this language. The only difference is the Bengals did not have this language in their contract in 2024 or in previous years. So this entire situation is just a mess. And with training camps officially underway around the NFL, the Bengals are now practicing without Shemar Stewart or Trey Hendrickson. I honestly have no idea what they're doing over there, but they need to get both of these guys into camp. And unless they get these deals done soon, they are going to be under scrutiny from fans and media alike. The time for negotiations is over, and Shemar Stewart is probably the one player in this draft, especially out of the first round picks, that needs to get into camp and develop. He's an incredible athlete with immense upside, but he needs to learn how to finish and continue developing as a pass rusher. He had 4.5 career sacks in college, but the potential is there for him to be an elite pass rusher. The bottom line, though, is if the Bengals want to be a Super Bowl contender, they need both Trey Hendrickson and Shemar Stewart in camp. Right now, they don't have either one. Let me know how you guys feel about this situation. I appreciate everyone who watches. Stay tuned for more year round NFL draft coverage.